Good morning. Today we are going to start the third chapter, which is trigonometry. As we all are aware, trigonometry deals with the study of triangles or angles in particular. So let's start with a brief discussion about an angle. Let's consider an angle AOB. The point O is called the vertex, the line OA the initial side, and the line OB is called the terminal side of the angle. Now an angle is said to be in the standard position if its vertex coincides with the origin and the initial side coincides with the positive x-axis in the xy plane. The terminal side could be in any of the four quadrants, and accordingly the angle is said to be in that particular quadrant. Like for example, in this case the terminal side belongs to the first quadrant, and so this angle is in the first quadrant. Over here terminal side belongs to the second or falls in the second quadrant, and so this angle is in the second quadrant. Here terminal side falls in the third quadrant, and so the angle AOB is in the third quadrant. Similarly, in this case the terminal side belongs to the fourth quadrant, and so the angle AOB is said to be in the fourth quadrant. Another thing which has to be kept in mind is that the angle is taken as positive while measured in the anti-clockwise direction and negative when measured in clockwise direction. Now in our study of angles and later on things dealing with angles, we are not restricted to angles lying within 360 degree only, because when you consider any angle less than or equal to 360 degree, that covers one full circle. We may have angles which are more than 360. Then how do we find the quadrant to which that angle belongs? So given angle can be written as 360 into n plus theta. Now from where do we get this thing? Suppose, like for example, suppose the given angle is equal to 750 degrees. Okay, so this can be written as 2 into 360 degree, which is 720, plus we are left with 30 degrees. Okay, so in order to find the quadrant to which this angle belongs, what we do is we start executing. Now this thing is positive. Okay, so now what we do is, positive means we have to execute this angle in the anti-clockwise direction. So let's first of all make the xy plane, and we start, A is this, in the standard position the initial side has to be in the along the positive x-axis. Now we start executing this angle, and the quadrant to which the last or the terminal side belongs, that will be the quadrant to which this angle belongs. So let's start. Now this being a positive angle, we will execute the angle in the anti-clockwise direction. So let's start. This completes one circle, then two circles, means 720 degrees, and after 720 degrees we have to go further for 30 degrees. So here, and this is B. So this is the angle AOB, and we are executing it in the anti-clockwise direction. So ultimately this is angle 750 degrees, and since the terminal side belongs to the first quadrant, so 760 degree belongs to first quadrant. Similarly, we can try, let's take up another question. Now given angle equal to minus 765 degrees suppose. So now here minus remains outside. You first of all divide this 765 by 360. So you can write it as 2 into 360, which makes it 720, and we are left with 45 degrees. So it means that we have to execute 2 full circles and go beyond that for 45 degrees to be able to arrive at 765 degrees. This is one thing. Another thing to be taken into consideration is that since the presence of this negative sign shows that it has to be executed in the clockwise direction. So let's see how we do it. We write it like this. This is x, this is y. Now this is origin. Now OA is the initial side which lies along the positive x axis. Now we have to execute 2 full circles in the clockwise direction. So let's start 1 circle, 2 circle, that makes it 720, and we go beyond it for 45 degrees, and this is the angle minus 765 degrees, and here we have executed in this direction, clockwise direction, and this angle is minus 765 degrees. So we write minus 765 degrees belongs to 4th quadrant. Likewise, we can try other angles also. Now let me take one more question. So let's take up let's say minus 945 degrees. Okay, so minus given angle equal to minus 945 degrees. Now it can be written as now 2 into 360 degrees. Now after 2 into 360 we are left with 720. Subtract 720 from here, we are left with plus 945 minus 720. It gives us 225 degrees. So we do plus 225 degrees. Okay, so it means that we have to execute 2 full circles in the clockwise direction because of the negative direction, and then go beyond it 225 degree. 225 can be written as 180 plus 45. Okay, so let's see what we get. So 2 full circles. Now first of all let's write this as x, this is OA, and then we start doing 1 circle, 2 circle, that makes us 360, then 225, that is 180 plus 45. So we reach here, and this is the angle, this is the point OB, and the direction is the clockwise direction, and that's it. So the angle minus 945 degree belongs to 2nd quadrant. Same way you can try out other questions as you can try out find the quadrant to which the following angles belong. So for this let's take up the next question could be taken up as 110 degree. This is for let's call it A, then B is minus 1140 degrees, C is 870 degrees, and D is, let's take up minus 910 degrees, or let's make it plus 960 degrees. Okay, so just try out these. Let me take up one more question which involves more than 2 circles. Okay, so let's take up this one. Okay, so given angle equal to 1110 can be written as 3 into 360 degrees plus, now 3 into 360 degree means 1080 plus 30 degrees. So it means to be able to arrive at this angle, we have to execute 3 full circles and then go beyond it for 30 degrees. So let's do. Now again it's a positive angle, and so we have to execute the angle in the anti-clockwise direction. So call it, this is x, this is y, call it A, and start 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circles, and then we go beyond it for 30 degrees, and this is OB, this is in the first quadrant, and then you make the arrows to show the direction in which you are going, right? So angle 1110 degrees belongs to first quadrant. Likewise, you can try out the remaining things. Now let's take up the value of 1 degree and 1 radian. Okay, now we know that 180 degrees equal to pi radians. So 1 degree will be equal to pi upon 180 radians. Okay, so now where pi equal to 22/7. So let's start solving it. 1 degree is equal to 22/7 into 180 equal to, this goes and we get 11/630 radians. Sometimes the symbol for radian, 1 radian, is also written as a small c on top of the top right corner of 1. Okay, so in the superscript of 1, the top side we write c. Okay, now what do we have here? We have to do this. Now radians, it follows the decimal system, so let's start solving it. You divide it by 630, it goes 0 times, you get 110, again you get a decimal point, you get this, it goes 1 times, you get 630, you are left with 0. Then here it goes 7 times and 470, you take down 1 more 0, and now you get, this goes 7 times, then you get 0, 21, 2 carried, this is 42, so 44. When you subtract, you get, this is 9, this is 6 minus 4 is 2. Again take down a 0, it will be approximately equal to 4, and then you get 0, 12, 1 carried, and here you get 4, 6 is 24, so 25, this gives you 8, this is 3. Again take down a 0, you get it as, let's say if you take 6, what do you get? 0, 18, 1 carried, this is 36, 37, which is almost equal. So 1 degree is approximately equal to 0.01746 radians, or we write it as 1 degree is approximately equal to 0.01746 radians. Same way, let's find the value of 1 radian in terms of degrees. Okay, so the value of 1 degree, we have just found out the value of 1 degree. Now we will find out the value of 1 radian. Now 1 radian or 1 C. Okay. Now we know that pi radians equal to 180 degrees. It implies that 1 radian will be equal to 180 upon pi degrees. Okay. Now, but pi is 22 by 7, and so this gives us 1 radian is equal to 180 over 22 into 7, which gives us, this is 11, this is 90, 630 over 11 degrees. Now let's start solving it. Now degree doesn't follow the decimal system. It follows the subdivisions that we know that 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Now let's start. So 1 radian is equal to 630 over 11 degrees. Now let's solve it. 630 when divided by 11 gives us, this is 5 times 55, we are left with 8, it becomes 80. It goes 7 times 77, we are left with 3. Note here we will not write a decimal point and we will not take down a 0. Instead we will write, so this is equal to 57 3 by 11 degrees, which can be written as 57 degrees 3 into 60 minute upon 11. Now we need to solve this part. Okay, so 3 into 60 is 180 divided by 11. Now it goes 1 times, you get 11, it goes, now 7 is, you get back 70. So it goes 6 times, so you get 66 and you are left with 4. Again, we don't write it as 40 and we don't put a decimal point because a minute is further converted to seconds. So we write it as 57 degrees 16 4 by 11 minutes, which comes out to be 57 degrees 16 minute, and then these minutes have to be converted to seconds into 60 upon 11 seconds. Okay, now this needs to be solved. So what do we get? 240 divided by 11, which gives you 2 times 22, you get this, which is approximately equal to 22. So you get, which is approximately equal to 57 degrees 16 minute 22 seconds, and so we write 1 radian equal to is approximately equal to 57 degrees 16 minute 22 seconds, or 1 radian is approximately equal to 57 degrees 16 minutes 22 seconds. With this you can try the exercise 3.1. We will discuss it in the next video. Thank you.